everyone, welcome to the Journaling Potato. I'm PJ. I hope you're well. If you're new to my channel, thank you very much for tuning in and welcome. If you are a long-term subscriber, I think an apology is in order. I am very sorry that it has taken me so long to upload a new video. This is kind of partly because every time when I had the actual spare time to film, I didn't think I had anything original to say or have made any interesting changes to my journaling practice. And then because of that, I didn't really want to spend time and use brain space to figure out how I used to set up to film, or the settings that I use when I'm doing post-processing and things like that. So this then became a vicious cycle of me didn't think I had anything important to say and therefore didn't want to spend time to film, and that just went round and round in circles. However, no matter, I think I have something interesting to say, and I'm very excited to talk you guys through my thoughts on what my 2026 lineup is going to be and how I got there, and hopefully some of the conclusions that I've drawn for myself can be useful for some of you as well. So the video today is going to be a show and tell of my journal and kind of sharing of the issues that I've had with the journal, kind of slight analytical view into why that may be and how I am aiming to change it. So to anybody who is new to journaling, or maybe specifically Hobonichi as a brand, so Hobonichi every year in August, they will share their lineup of products for the following year that then start to be on sale from September 1st. So for a lot of Hobonichi users, me included, this kind of has become, or the month of August has become the month of reflection. And traditionally, you then ponder your lineup for the next year. I am fairly new to Hobonichi. I'm using Hobonichi, this is my third year of using Hobonichi, and the previous years I haven't really taken this month of reflection very seriously. However, I'm encountering the same problems that I had last year, so this year I have taken it seriously and really thought about the changes that need to be made for me to be happy next year in my journal. So I have a little bit of a list of things that I've noted down that I'm going to kind of talk you guys through it. So first of all, I have got 4 major issues or problems that I keep encountering. So one of them is the fact that I think a lot of Hobonichi users, and I don't know whether this is kind of partly peer pressure or whether it's because it is very beautiful when you look at people's journals, is the assumption that you will decorate your pages with kind of stickers or washi tapes. A lot of the times, even before you before that particular week that you're decorating is here. So you pre-decorate pages with stickers, and a lot of the times you then add stickers as you go when you fill out the page, as you can see here. And I can also see here that I find this page very pleasing, so I don't regret doing the decorations now looking at it, but at the time of having to do them, I did feel it was pretty tedious. I still find doing these pages quite tedious, but I also at the same time love seeing them when they're ready. So these are what are called vertical weeklies, and they basically have a whole week laid out in a vertical column format with your with like an hourly scale on the left to each day. And I find this particular view very very good for actual functional planning and kind of blocking out times and things like that. But I know a lot of people don't particularly like this particular format. And talking about kind of finding it tedious to decorate, I basically overthink a lot as well when I decorate these pages, and I find that I spend way too much time pondering where to place certain stickers to make the page look balanced, that I actually just lose the joy of using this. And because of the time spent, you obviously are losing time to actually do the work that you are scheduling yourself to do. So I really kind of want to avoid that next year. This page, for example, I had pre-decorated, but I had absolutely no time or wish to actually really write exactly what I have been doing. Say, for example, on this page, it's it makes like or what people call memory keeping. I write down what I've been doing at a certain point of the day. This week I actually like very much because I've treated it more as like an artwork, if I may be so pretentious to say. So I had the decorations here already. Didn't really want to write anything, and then at the end of the week I just written some overall comments regarding the week, and I thought this visually is actually a really beautiful flow of the page, and it works well color wise too, with kind of the purpley highlighter pen things, and then some of the kind of purple bits in the decoration. So in particular, I quite like this page, and I wouldn't mind having more pages like this, but because when you start using these pages, you feel almost obliged to fill them in, and it's just such a chore to have to keep up with that. And another thing actually is overconsumption, which is kind of what kickstarted my months of reflection this year. I felt utterly overwhelmed by all the washi tapes that I have, all the different bits and bobs that I have that I actually don't really necessarily need to use. So you can tell that I have gone from something a bit more full to less and less written things. And this week I just put some stickers on. These are by Dear Whoever, by Bronte Plans. And the week after that, I didn't even do any pre-decorations because I literally had no time, but clearly enough time to go shopping. But I really like this page how it is now. Like, I really don't feel like I need the washi tape decoration. So I definitely want to kind of do something more like that next year. Also quite like this page. It's just nice and tidy. And then I had a interesting week because I went on holiday to New York. And again, I didn't actually hear in this particular week, I made a conscious decision not to write what I would be doing or have been doing, but just to use stickers from the places that I visited, except for some pre-decorated bits down here. So things like that, for example, I find actually really, really nice too. And then another good example of just having absolutely no joy in wanting to decorate or fill out the page. And then we're basically here this month, where this was the week where I decided I need to get rid of some of the stickers and washi tapes that I have, because I'm just not using them, and the fact that they hang around taking away storage space stresses me out because I'm not using them. So I did a big declutter, and I'm feeling very good about it. And actually, because I've been doing the decluttering, I found like joy again in using my stickers, and I really love this page. This is like extremely full compared to some of the other pages that you've just seen, and it's so full in fact that these bits here look very empty, that I think I will go back in later and find some stickers that go well and make this page really maximalist and over the top. This is basically more or less this week as well. So again, because I've went through all of my kind of washi stickers and things like that, I actually started using them more. Also in a way, maybe because I basically said, whatever, let's just decorate the pages and let's not be too strict about what things I want to put together with, certain other washi. So for example, here I wouldn't want to use character stickers like TCMC stickers, for example, because I want to keep it kind of fairly bland, I guess, in a way. But yeah, so I quite like these pages now. And this is kind of this week's page where it's very simple. I'm not planning to use any TCMC, and it's kind of a bit more of a retro vibe. So having said that, pre-decorating pages is still an issue, and it's definitely not something that I want to be doing anymore next year. And also, while I very much love this particular layout for planning and things like that, blocking out time blocks or appointments, I actually don't feel I need this anymore, because a lot of my actual like functional planning happens digitally now, just on my Apple Calendar and things like that. So I really don't feel I need these anymore, even though I like them. I'm just going to show you some other kind of pre-decorated pages that I've done during my declutter week. Some of these are just kind of ready to go. So I've left some of the stickers, here, knowing that I'm going to have to that I want to use them during the week. So now let me go into my daily pages. Daily pages really are a big issue for me. So this particular page, for example, started with no pre-decorations. So I basically started to put stuff in on the day when, if and when, and whatever ephemera I received to put it in. And I find this double page, for example, very great. And this hasn't given me any stress when I was doing it, because I didn't feel like I had to work around my my pre-decorated pages. And if a page isn't pre-decorated, I don't feel like I need to complete the page. I hope that makes sense. I think this is something that I've come to realize for myself, that if I have a pre-decorated page, I feel the urge of having to fill it. So for example, this page, I had this section here pre-decorated, and if I hadn't, I would have probably put this sticker down here and maybe written something about this sticker on this page on like a different day. But because I've pre-decorated it, I felt I needed to balance it out somehow with putting stuff on here and doing something here. But at the same time, I didn't really want to write for writing's sake, which I have been doing a lot anyway. Like for example, on this page, where this section was decorated ahead of time. And then actually on the day I was really tired, I didn't really want to write much, but I felt obliged to put something on the page to kind of complete it, to finish it, if that makes sense. Whereas again, the following week, I kind of didn't want to decorate. So because I haven't decorated it, I can just leave it blank. And I'm actually very happy with like blank pages like this, or just the sticker, So that's something that is important for me to remember for next year, that I will definitely not pre-decorate, because it's the unwritten rule that you maybe should pre-decorate, because that will make my life easier. And then this is kind of the week when I was in New York with Bronte and Raquel. And this section here, I don't know if you can tell, but the actual page ends here, but I've taken off sections of it so I can make these tabs for like this particular week that I was spending in New York. And this cutting into pages, that's inspired by Helen from TCMC, so the Coffee Monsters Co. I thought it was a genius idea. So I basically use ephemera to make tabs to kind of divide out the days and things like that. Here are the days and lots of ephemera, barely, like minimally pre-decorated. I think I just bookended the week by, starting off with this tape over here, New York, Big Apple, so like very Apple themed, and then ending it with that and kind of, using these bits. And then I carried on talking about the holiday by kind of going through like some of the stuff that we ate and what we enjoyed eating. So here I kind of have started to kind of use days where things haven't happened on that day for something else, and that I've been really enjoying. This is another kind of day where I felt I needed to complete it, but actually in the end it looked quite nice. So I had this tiny sticker here and the Monday added to it. And then I didn't really want to write much, so I just put, a mocha pod here that I acquired roughly during the week, probably not on the Monday. This is like a extremely full page, which just happened to be this full because we had a journal meetup and I had lots to say and lots of ephemera to put down. But writing for writing's sake is really something that I'm going to stop next year. I am not a Dear Diary person. If I do it, it's because I feel I need to balance out the page. Oh, I love kind of doing things like this where I cut into the page and put, tracing paper or whatever. Tracing paper on here. And some more where I had pre-decorated the pages and then I felt I need to fill stuff in. Also, a lot of people use their books to write kind of book reviews in. I've tried that. I'm not very good at it. I kind of just read the books and then that's it with the books. I give it a review in my head, but I find it really hard to actually write a summary and a review about things. So I tried that as well. Now I know I don't want to do that, but maybe for certain books I will. I just don't want it to become a rule that I tell myself that I need to do, because then I feel like I won't do it. But it's something that I like seeing in other people's books or like common planners where people write quotes out of books. It's just something that I know I can't keep up. Now months of August, so this is kind of quite exciting months because of how I'm using the pages. So just to recap, I really want to avoid having to pre-decorate my pages. So I'm not going to say it as a rule that I definitely won't pre-decorate my pages next year, but I also don't want it to be a thing that I must do every week, which is what I've been feeling that I should do. But the little respites, pockets of non-decorated pages really were so good for my brain and I really like them. So I'm definitely going to be a lot more free next year. And then another thing is trying not to overconsume. So all of these washi I have rehomed. I have done a really huge destash. All of these I absolutely love, and look how amazing they look, like swatched out just like this. But I just haven't really used them. Like some of these I literally have just unwrapped and were brand new. I think this one maybe, I don't know, like, they have like a really sharp cut here, so it means I haven't really cut them. So yeah, another page. This is another page where this I pasted in because actually something happened on this day that I wanted to actually remember, which is written on the back of this page. But I can't show it, but I quite like these kind of pages, so I'm going to do more of these in my 2026 journal. Here again, some sticker sheets that are kind of destashed. I say kinda. I've then decided, after putting some of these stickers down, I've decided I'm going to keep maybe some sticker sheets, so not all of them are de-stash, but sampler sheets like this, I think I find way more enjoyable than potentially forcing myself using them on my pages. So yeah, I will definitely do some more of these. And then this is basically where I've started to use my pages, my daily pages, more like notebook pages. And this realization was a bit of a light bulb moment for me, in, like, personally, because I feel I give myself weird, very constraining rules that, or like I have kind of like ideas in my head that I feel are quite constraining. But so using these pages while they're dated, just as notebook pages, has been a light bulb moment. So here in pencil, I've basically written down the day that I've actually done this entry, or these updates basically correlate to the Hobonichi daily previews. And so there are some kind of ephemera from like the days, but really, actually, they are not really linked to the actual printed days. These little stickers over here, these flag stickers, just indicate that on this page I have talked about my journaling setup, or have written something about next year's journal and things like that. So all these pages are really confusing because actually I can't really remember whether this ephemera piece, which day I put it in. But it doesn't matter, I don't really mind. I don't really read my Dear Diary entries back anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So long I have a rough idea that something happened during that week or during that month, that's enough. Then I started doing a wish list that was very much cut down once I figured out how much things were going to cost, once Hobonichi released the full preview on their website. Here, though, you can see I've done the pre-decorated pages. So I had to work around it. So I usually decorate the whole week in the same way. And then here I basically stopped the pre-decoration for this particular week and started to pick out the things that I liked from the preview, and talked about potentially changing my journal format as well as my journal books, so not necessarily being in a Hobonichi. And I've gone through this thought multiple times, around and round and round in circles, and I came to the conclusion that I'm definitely going to be using an A6. I had originally thought that I would go into a day free. So a day free is a undated, so it doesn't have dated daily pages like here. They're undated, they still have the quotes at the bottom. They have two versions of monthly views of monthly calendars. So one is the vertical monthly, where you can use them as trackers, which is what I kind of do with my vertical monthlies. And then you have your grid-like monthlies that this year I've started to use as a online shopping, or just shopping in general, tracker that helps me with kind of deliveries and returns. So if I return something from an online delivery, the little box is going to be upside down, basically. So so this I find very useful. I'm going to do that for next year as well. So the monthly grid is going to be for spending tracking, and then the vertical one I'm going to use for habits. And so I had a chat with Raquel from Rocky Paper Scissors Co. And she is currently using a day free. And we both have the same, again, like this, what I'm talking about, this weird constraint that I set myself, like a weird thing that I struggle to get over with, which is I actually prefer dated pages. The reason why I like dated pages is because it gives structure to a book. You know, it's like you want a timetable for your bus, right? You don't just want to turn up and hope there's a bus there, which for that particular kind of analogy and reason is I felt like I was not strong enough, not committed enough, not ambitious enough to want to keep up with daily pages, because I can't cope with a predated page, because I feel I am giving up before trying, in a way. But that's obviously not true, because I've been trying it for like a couple of years, and I'm not really getting on very well with daily pages, because I don't always have this much to say, where I will run out of a daily page and have to go onto a different page. So what I've done is I have tried some pages in this day free in the A6 size, and I'm loving it. So I have come to the conclusion I'll be okay dating my own pages, and it's fine. What I want to do, which is why I've been trying it here, I want to use more of my stamps. I've really been neglecting the stamps because of the bleed through. It is annoying, it is a bit ugly, but I'm going to embrace it, and then therefore it will feel like okay, if that makes sense. Like, I know it's going to happen and I'm going to deal with it. And a good way of dealing with it, because of being in an undated, is that I could just skip a page and not stamp anything. So for example, I didn't have to stamp this on this page, knowing that it will bleed through onto this page and making this page look a bit ugly. So I can skip these. Another thing, another brainwave, a light bulb moment that's really helped me coming to my conclusion of what books to use, is that if you have pages that are undated, what it does to the composition of the page is that you don't feel obliged to kind of deal with this thing here, which really divides the page how Hobonichi has divided the page. So they have done like the very balanced thing of giving you this particular section to write in, to have like this hourly scale, and then you kind of end up dividing your pages so it fits. So you don't have a lot of flexibility in how you may want to lay out your page, because this is obviously always here. And this is such an obvious thing that I'm sure it's not news to anybody else but me. But for some reason, the realization for me that this is causing layout issues, as well as stress issues for not being able to fill out the page once I have pre-decorated it, this is a game changer in my brain. So what can then happen is you can structure your pages like an exercise book from school, you know, where your tutors would, or teachers would, kind of comment on either side of a double page of like whatever you have written on the inside, you know. And it's a really beautiful kind of margin. I had a chat with Bronte actually just the other day, and Bronte from Bronte Plans, she has also come to the conclusion that she's going to do some different things with her layouts as well next year. So it's going to be quite interesting for a lot of us, I think. Okay, so another thing I wanted to say is I'm going to take these pages out. So that's why I've selected random pages. I'm going to cut the center thread and then take these out. Actually, I've done one already, which is this one. I've taken it out, and you know, to put into this A5. But yeah, so this is another kind of one where the layout is going to be a bit different, and I can be quite free. Like this is just, you know, I've ordered some hay foldable plastic crates and wheels, and this is just perfect. And then here again, different layout. I think this is meant to go in here eventually. And this is kind of a cool page. And that would be enough for me to remember what happened on the day without me having to write about it and feel stressed about it, and having to buy a new washi tape because I feel like I've used one washi tape way too much. And, you know, so overconsumption hopefully will be reduced. That's what I'm hoping anyway. And here again, I'm trying slightly different layout types, and also trying these rotary stamps, because I really want to use, where did they go? I really want to buy some of the new rotary stamps, but this one from Eric Small Things I have yet to use properly. But that's because I didn't want to use stamps in my Hobonichi journals, but now I am, so it's fine. It will get used. I'll get back to this page in a minute. So here again, this was a sample from miso paper, and I am actually perfectly happy just to leave the sample like this in one piece and just move on for the day. I will be remembered. I will be reminded that this is going to be what happened on the day or whatever. And I think that's it in this day free. So then what has happened is that I have then had thought about these quotes at the bottom. While the day free does offer you these dated monthlies that I do find very useful, I really, really don't need these quotes at the bottom of the page. So then I thought about the whole point of what I was saying, using these daily dated pages as just notebook pages and let whatever I write bleed through and continue on like to the following pages. Like a notebook, why don't I just use a notebook next year rather than even the day free? Because then I can literally do whatever I want with the pages, and I can continue to write or not write, or write however much I want. And this was one of the freebies from last year. The grid here is 5 mil, but the actual notebooks that Hobonichi offer will have their 3.8/4 millimil grid, which would be the same as this in a grey kind of color. And I think I will be buying a A6 notebook from Hobonichi and use that as my journal. And what I will do is I will use Midori's dated grid monthly stickers in my journal, and kind of use that as my spending tracker. Or maybe I would change my spending tracker somewhere, like in a different way, use it differently, because in a way I'm using this monthly grid like this because it was there and I kind of needed to make a good efficient use with this, rather than using it as a happenings tracker or memory tracker, because I'm using that in my vertical weeklies already, and I didn't want to do the same thing over and over again, which is why this thing has become my spending tracker. So I do very enjoy the spending tracker and kind of the parcel tracker, so I will find a way to do that in my A6 notebook journal. So yes, I mean, this is basically the conclusion that I have drawn. I shall be using just a notebook as my journal, and I will date it myself. I will do kind of my little cutting into it, or maybe halving pages and things like that. But just having fun with it without any stress and weird rules that I keep setting myself or keep having in the back of my head that nobody has told me that those must be the rules. I don't think I will completely stop pre-decorating my pages, even though I don't like it being a thing, because they are kind of cute, it does look nice. But I just will probably do it for like the odd week, and then I would have had enough of it, and then would definitely want to be into something less pre-planned and therefore restricting. So something like this I think is going to look really great in an A6 size as well. An A6 as a size means that due to literally half the actual real estate of paper that you get to write on, means that's like half the stress already taken away. And another thing, actually, what I wanted to mention that I almost forgot is, well, at the moment, obviously, I am thinking that I will never be able to fill out all these pages because I don't think I have enough to say. However, if I'm using this journal more as a notebook and like a catch-all for everything and anything, there could be a risk that I run out of pages, and then it would be annoying if I had a A6 day free fully filled up, and then I had, say, a month left of the year, for example, but with nowhere to go. I would probably have to get like one of the smaller kind of inserts. But if I'm just using a notebook, it can run on forever. So I will basically date the notebook, however long it takes me to fill it up. So a little bit like a TN insert that a lot of people have. They start June 2024 and then it finishes at September 2024, and then the next one just carries on like that, which is kind of great. It's super flexible. I hope this means that I can be much more relaxed about how I'm using my things. And I hope it will be a bit more creative for me as well, and way less stress, and also way less buying stickers and tapes for the sake of buying them, because looking at some of these pages that I've done here, I really don't need them. Like, I can have them, it looks cute, but I really would be happy just with a page like that, and pages just all looking like that, with minimal writing, minimal stickers, but just actual ephemera. Like this. This is great. So yeah, I think this is it. Problems that I hope I have solved is going to be less consumption and pressure to have to buy new products, so my pages look fresh all the time. You can only ever do that many combinations of different things to keep things fresh, or the wish to want to buy stuff using that as an excuse, which I definitely have done. And then I also don't want to waste any more brain space worrying about having to fill pages and stressing about it, feeling like I have to come up with a Dear Diary entry for the day because, there is this space that requires some writing to balance out kind of the blocky visuals, which is kind of why I write like in where I kind of turn the orientation of my writing, or sometimes I write upside down, is because I use them. Now I can't find an example here, because I use the writing as an image. And sometimes it's because if I write it upside down or sideways, then I don't necessarily need to read it, even less. So yeah, so that's going to be great. And then I also want to feel a bit more free cutting into my pages, like here, for example, using different types of paper, not just kind of transparent paper, but I do like things like this. So yeah. And then just the flexibility of using just the notebook. It takes literally all the pressure that I kind of set myself away from my brain, and I can just use it and feel like I'm treating my journaling time very efficiently, rather than overthinking and just wasting time. I've been very much enjoying using my journal the past couple of weeks, the past months, where I just write when I have stuff to write and just carry on, rather than, feeling restricted to one page and then have to turn the page or whatever. So yeah, maybe this is a solution for some of you guys as well, if you feel like you don't want to pre-decorate anymore for the sake of doing it, and if you want to work more with your actual ephemera of the day. Maybe like a notebook is just a solution, but not using the notebook as like a bullet journal or like a common planner as such. I suppose it might feel like a common planner actually next year, my journal. I don't know. Yeah, but this is it really. This is a very abrupt ending to a very chatty video. I hope this all makes sense. I hope me talking through kind of my thought process has helped some of you as well, if you even needed the help. But for me, I am at a really good place. I'm feeling very confident that I will finally enjoy journaling again without any pressure. Yeah, I'm gonna report back, obviously, next year, hopefully. In a year's time, there'll be another video. Oh, I don't know. Oh my god, I don't want to say that. I don't want to like pressure myself having to having to film a video. Yeah, so basically less rules for myself and just having more joy journaling again. Being happy with empty pages, not having the dates, and actually feeling pretty happy that I am over the fact that I want a dated page or dated journal, that I'm going to be happy in an undated notebook. So yeah, if you have any comments on what I've said or any of my pages, please leave them below. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, subscribers, for hanging about and coming back to watch this video. Hopefully I will make more videos soon again, but no promises, okay? So if you want to subscribe to my channel because you are happy with like the odd video once every blue moon, you're very welcome. And if you do, thank you very much for subscribing. Happy last few days of pondering before Hobonichi releases their products, before everything goes on sale and we all go crazy trying to buy things that we think we need. Actually, on that note, let me just show you my journal entry for the 31st of August. It is to remember not to panic buy, to only buy what will be used, and to not collect. So hopefully I will listen to my own advice, and if you needed the advice, here you are. Yes, so good luck for whatever you want to buy during the launch on September the 1st, and yes, let me know what your journal lineup will be for next year. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.